I think I had a lot of misconceptions about what the daily routine looks like for someone active in the LA film industry. That everything is all or nothing, back-to-back projects, always growing, never a dull moment. For some, yeah, definitely the case. It's been almost 3 years since I shared the last day in my life, and things looked, well, pretty different. I'm now living in Los Angeles, obviously. I adopted some kittens, and oh yeah, I married my best friend. You might think that after 7 years of doing this full-time, I'd have a pretty good sense of direction and a concrete day-to-day strategy. It's safe to say that a lot has changed, but there are, however, a few aspects that remain very much the same. For those who know me, I am not a morning person. Still, after years of fighting through attempts to mold myself into the classic conform, the old early bird gets the worm mentality, I've simply accepted that I perform better, feel better, create better by not battling my body's instinctual rhythm. I think I used to feel a lot of shame for this aspect of my life. It's hard to deny the inescapable feeling of comparison to those who chase the early hours of the day like their life depends on it. Now, ironically, while not being an early riser, breakfast is a must. First, coffee. My go-to, always, 2 whole eggs, 2 egg whites, and some toast. Maybe a little bit of sausage or something. My stubborn, productive brain slowly begins flickering on throughout the later hours into the afternoon, so to best utilize that creative energy, I aim to structure my day around it, choosing instead to begin my morning work hours with tasks like emails, calls or text, general admin stuff, sometimes maybe simple chores around the house or office, maybe breaking down the mountain of boxes at my front door waiting to be recycled. Guilty pleasure. I find that occupying myself with a few hours of somewhat mindless tasks like these can get me up and running on a positive note, sort of like small dopamine hits when each simple item is ticked off the to-do list. It also frees up mental space to be filled with a new creative concept, or maybe just gives me a chance to work through a thought that my mind was stuck on the night before. Kylie usually climbs out of bed around now to begin tackling these tasks alongside me, or thankfully does them herself if I'm on set or preoccupied with something. And I always try to have a cup of tea waiting for her because, well, it's the little things to her. And she's on kind of a mint tea kick lately. The evolution of our partnership, from friends to spouses to business partners, it's truly reshaped my understanding of companionship. Whether it's as simple as offering a cup of tea in the morning or embracing the hard times that come with sharing a business. We found it's just not about life's biggest moments for us, but more about appreciating the small gestures and welcoming our ever-changing day-to-day story. As most people are usually feeling the classic 3 p.m. crash, this is usually around the time when I become the most locked into the important work within my day. Some days it's pre-production for an upcoming DP job, maybe neck deep in an edit or shooting content for a YouTube video. Not much about what I do has changed relative to living in Portland versus here in LA. I still manage a steady balance of freelance DP work or post-production jobs to being a YouTube creator. However, as you'd expect, it has become much more frequent and accessible now that I don't have to board a plane each time a client or a friend has a job for me. The sheer amount of people you can meet in the industry just simply stepping out for dinner or drinks, it's kind of difficult to wrap my head around sometimes. Competition certainly exists, but the amount of work is near infinite if you're confident in what you do. Of course, it always helps to just be a good person. As for whether Kylie or I really consider ourselves LA people yet, I'm not so sure. Frankly, I'm not sure if we ever will. And that's fine for both of us, for now. The change in weather from Portland to LA has been pretty drastic, and ironically, I've almost come to long for the rain, the wind, anything to just change up the mundane. Everyone seems to sort of slow down just a little bit on days like those. We're surrounded by people pushing this societal standard of constant improvement, to never settle for a mindset of comfort. And I can't help but sometimes feeling like I'm not trying enough to really maximize the opportunity of living quite literally in the heart of the industry. At the end of the day, I could probably be trying more, pushing further, waking up earlier, but this is me. This is what keeps me happy and keeps me willing and motivated to wake up and take on what life brings.